Okay.
Right? This is quite a few years ago. This fella sort of upset the royal family doing something, right? So they said that this isn't good.
It wasn't Ben Alton at that Jubilee thing, was it?
I can't remember what it was, and they said, right,
That was terrible.
We're gonna cut your head off. You know, you gotta show people that you can't be doing what you've been doing.
What was this, the 1970s? Well, when you say a couple of years ago, you mean maybe sort of...
Was it the olden days when the phones weren't very good?
Ages ago.
Yeah.
Ages ago, sure.
So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
very philosophical.
Yeah, imagine that when you watch News Story.
Cut your head off.
This
Yeah,
was
fair enough.
literally ages ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go
Simon
on.
Sharma's History of Britain.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
and even before that, which is yonks before, when it was all mental and different. Sorry, Carl, go on.
So he's having his head cut off, and he's resigned to it.
it's a day before. He's kind of got it into his head now that I'm not going to have my head much longer.
Sure.
So he said, let's make use of this.
Yeah.
He said, I wonder how long the body can stay alive without my head on it, right? So they were like, I don't know. So
Who were?
so
The jailers?
whoever he was asking.
These jailers with one eye.
Yeah.
Get that thug.
So he said,
No, wait a minute, I've got an interesting scientific experiment, jailer. Well,
Yeah.
fair enough.
What is it?
So he said, what I want to do, right? He said, surely it's my last right. I'm gonna be dead tomorrow.
Sure.
So let's
He
do a
didn't draw it
test.
out this long, did he?
Yeah, he said, let's test this out. He said, do us a favour. He said, it's my last day. What I want you to do is, you're going to cut my head off. Let's put a white line on the floor
Right.
and see if, because there's no point asking how far he can sort of walk without an head if there isn't a line, because you don't know what to count. Do you know what I mean? If he loses his head and he's running around all over the place, you can't really count
That's
that.
not impressive enough, yeah.
So they said, let's make a white line.
Sure.
Yeah. Who said
And-
this? He did or they did?
I think they started to join in with him and saying, well, let's make this a... you know.
Sure. You guess it. Go on.
So...
They got Norris McWhirter down. The Guinness people.
Oh, yeah.
So they said, let's get this white line,
Yeah.
and
Dedication's all he needs.
we'll do this. We'll do this tomorrow. And he said, all right, then I'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning. I'll see you in the morning. Night, night. Sleep tight. Bye.
I love the fact that Carl knows exactly what was said.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, he doesn't know the story or what order it's in or when
but
it
he knows
was.
exactly what
or
was
it's
said.
in what, but he knows the intricacies. All right then, see you in the morning. Bye, little kissy. Oh, I'm not like that. Oh, you joker.
Oh, don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah. Anyway,
So he gets up.
do you want a paper tomorrow? No, I'm all right. Go on.
He gets up, and they say, right, today's the day and that. And he said, well, I've got used to the idea. So here's the white line for you.
Got used to the idea.
Go on.
So they go, right, you ready then? And he said, I go on. And they cut his head off, and the body walked 32 steps without a head.
Wow.
32 steps.
Incredible.
And that's the lesson, really.
Did it get as far as it walked along the white line, did it?
Yeah, it stayed along the white line, did 32 steps, and then started to stumble a bit, and it just fell over.
Yeah.
But, it was a test that your body can still keep alive for a little bit
Yeah.
when you've lost your head.
Absolute twaddle. Absolute twaddle.
What do you reckon you can do then without an head? How many steps?
Nothing.
There'd be muscular spasm, right?
Yeah. It would twitch a bit.
It would, yeah. You could not distinctly take 32 steps. The body could... Well, don't...
Yeah.
Is the doctor still on the line?
Yeah.
The fella that bought 6 parrots.
Yeah.
And, you could have
Incredible.
got 32 steps.
Right, so
A
you don't
beheaded
believe
man
that.
doing a bit of line dancing.
Right, you don't believe that, but something that you do believe that a cockroach can live a week without an head.
It can. Slightly different. Slightly different kettle of fish there.
Why?
Wow. Insect to human is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that
well,
difference.
There's not that much difference in
Well, of course
some
there
insects. Do you know that a snake has a heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff?
Go on.
No, well, I'm just saying.
So?
You're making out as if they're a totally different being.
Species. I am making that up. I mean, call me
Rick,
old-fashioned.
Do you know what you're talking about? I don't want you embarrassing yourself, Rick.
Yeah, I am suggesting they're totally different beings. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Now, Carl, the cockroach is a very different thing. The interesting there is that it lives without its head, because a lot of it's on. There's some of them are phototropic, chemotropic. Some of them just literally have irritation and muscle memory. I mean, they do have a central nervous system, but it's very different. So if you lose the head, it bypasses a lot of that anyway. All this is run around. The reason it dies is because it can't take on water. But it's very different to a man, right, having consciousness and then losing that, and the body's still going, no, I think I remember what I was going to do here.
Yeah, so
I'm going to carefully walk 32 steps along this white line. Imagine just looking out going, oh, missed a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe the head was in the corner going, left,
Yeah.
left, left. Oh, he's now...
Well, let's just put it out. I mean, if anyone listening has maybe had a relative beheaded, maybe in a horrendous car accident, but they got up, maybe they went for a walk, they had a little chat before they passed on.
Carl.
Get in touch.
Carl, you are my favourite being. You are my favourite species.
Now, you, Carl, may not be particularly different genetically from a cockroach.
You are.
Why can
generally
cockroaches do that? Why whoever made them went...
When I told him this fact, I send him little facts on text messages just to inflame his, interest. I just sent him a cockroach can live 9 days without its head. He texted back, "What's the point of that?
Yeah.
What's the point of
They're
that?"
not doing experiments, these cockroaches.
It's a boring last week to have.
And he went, and on top of all that, you're thirsty. So it's the worst week of your life, isn't it? That week without your head.
Other things, right, that are weird in the world.
Yeah,
do you know
go on,
you're
Carl.
always like,
Yeah.
you're going on about there's no ghosts and stuff,
Yeah.
right? How do you answer this one?
Yeah.
Someone here who I work with,
Yeah.
right, I'm not going to say they are because it doesn't matter, but they were eating space cake, right?
What do you mean by that, Carl? Explain.
What's a space cake?
For people who...
It's some sort of druggy cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
A dope brownie or whatever, yeah.
Right.
So something with cannabis in it, is that what you're saying?
I think it's something stronger than that, isn't it? I don't know. But
Fine.
anyway, he was having this space cake. And
You better give me the name now, Carl, because I've got to report him.
no, listen.
It's
listen,
only, no,
it
'cause
really
it is
doesn't
still...
matter.
No.
Is it Sturgis? Was it Claire Sturgis?
Yeah,
She
let's say
wouldn't
it
bother.
is.
She's gone on the hardest. She doesn't
Sure,
bother with
yeah,
dope.
she's just
It doesn't,
straight up.
doesn't do anything to her
Straight
now.
to the vein, yeah.
So listen,
Yeah.
right? So he's at a party, right,
Yeah.
with his mates, and they're listening to the Star Sailor album, right?
Right,
And he's sat there, and he's had some of this cake,
right.
and he's listening to the album, and his mate sat across the way talking to someone else, right?
That's weird.
The album's on, and he thinks to himself, this track's going on a bit.
Yeah.
And his mate across the way, who's talking to someone else,
Heard him say it.
heard him say it, and he goes,
Yeah,
yeah, isn't it?
yeah.
So he goes, oh.
Right.
And he goes,
See, usually at this point, I say, had this bloke taken drugs, but you started the story
Yeah.
with this bloke
no.
had done some
But
drugs,
since,
right, Rick?
No, if he was here now,
Yeah.
right, he would say, yeah, I know it sounds mental,
Yeah.
but it happened. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just a one question. It wasn't just like, oh, this track's a bit long, innit? Yeah, it is.
He had a
It
whole
was
conversation.
A whole conversation
Sure.
with the guy. And
Yeah.
the-
What,
and
but
the-
sorry, I just want to clarify. You mean he had the whole conversation telepathically?
Yeah.
Right. He
And-
didn't just shout across the
And
room.
they've recently met up and like they've sat there and tried to like work out what happened. And it's never happened
Presumably, they
again.
don't have to talk at all anymore.
Yeah. Why did they meet up? Couldn't they have just done it like in their own homes? Just stay at home and do it.
Do they have to have that cake before they
Yeah, before
start
they have
having
to
a
chat.
conversation? Hold on, wait a minute, lads. Why are we using our lips?
Yeah.
This is using way too many... Oh, take them. There you go.
My only question with that is, being skeptics like Ricky and I, whenever we hear a story like that about the paranormal, the first thing we always look for is maybe some other explanation.
Yeah.
Maybe one vague idea.
Lying.
Could be lying.
Chinese whisper.
As I think you pointed out, there are drugs. It's often,
Drugs.
an issue as well.
Madness.
Yeah.
Fear. Delusion. Sleep. You've got a real problem with Rick Waller, haven't you?
I just...
And he's
he
probably
turns my stomach.
I know, but don't...
'Cause he's
don't say
arrogant
that.
as well, though.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Don't explain to people that...
No,
you
he
know,
is a bit arrogant.
It's his whole thing, that it's the whole package, so to speak, that you don't
Well, there's
like.
another thing in this quote, because
It's
he's
not just the fact that he eats too much.
he tried apparently to lose some weight, and he said the first month I lost 11 pounds, the next I lost a stone, but in the third my body did somersaults and I put on 9 pounds. I had a slip up. I can't say when, why, or how, but it just sneaked up on me.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Don't believe it just sneaked up on
That
him.
body's never done a somersault
No.
in its life.
No, it just sneaked up on him.
me, yeah.
It was the cakes again.
Yeah.
It was the same old cakes as before. It was exactly the same problem.
Sleep eating.
Yeah.
it's called.
It was the KFC bucket again. It was the
Oh,
family-sized
dear.
KFC bucket
Oh,
for breakfast.
Dear. poor man. The other thing is that I don't think that's a very good shock tactic for a doctor to tell a 20-something, well, to be honest, you've got 20 years to live.
Yeah.
That's not...
Doesn't mean anything
and
when
when I
you're
was 20, the thought of dying at 40 was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't want to live to 40. I
Yeah.
just thought, oh, what can you do when you're 40?
Yeah.
Just laying around doing nothing.
Eating cheese. And then you got there and you discovered...
No, but someone sent
The dream came true.
Sophie here sent me something, and she says, I realise you're not Graham Norton, but I had to send you this. And she sent me the top of a little cream cheesy thing, and it's the brand name is Gervais.
How odd that is. Have you been... They've named a cheese after you.
I think it's a big French company, and this is from the Czech Republic. It's all over Europe, and so it
That would
shows-
be a dream come true, wouldn't it, if they named a cheese after
No,
you?
I think it's probably ancestors, and so I've cheeses in my blood.
Sure.
Quite
It
literally.
literally is, yeah. Another heavy Friday night, was it?
It comes out of pores like those Play-Doh things. I can squeeze out different shapes.
Jane, bring the Stilton in. It's Friday night.
Oh, you know sumo wrestlers? I saw this thing about sumo wrestlers. Because they're athletes. They go into this thing because it's a big honour to be a sumo. It's absolutely
Really?
true, right? Yeah, absolutely true.
Yeah.
So you'd go along and you'd be 9 stone, and they have doctors there, so you have to eat to get big. Right?
Right.
And this doctor was interviewed, Japanese doctor, and he's going, it is against, you'd think it's against the Hippocratic Oath, but whereas they do it anyway, I do it healthily. So he gives them diets of like, 10 pounds of rice, 9 pounds of fish and things like that, and they get, but now, because it's such an honour, it's almost a spiritual thing to be a great sumo and all that, they have apprentices willing to, like when you're an apprentice, say, runner or something, you have to make the coffee, and when you're working an apprentice in the studio, you have to clean the floor and stuff. Do you know what apprentice sumo's job is?
An apprentice sumo. Go on.
They wipe the sumo wrestler's arse because they can't reach. They literally can't reach.
Rubbish.
Right. We'll give out the
Who's
phone
taking that up as a profession?
I know. I imagine that. I'd love to be a sumo wrestler. It's a great honour, and I'd love to work under you.
Sure.
Sure. So what will I do? Start press-ups first?
There'll be some press-ups, yeah.
Okay,
There
yeah.
will be
What,
some
shall I get
press-ups.
into the gym now? And
No, don't before you rush off.
Go on.
You
I'm
will-
starving.
No, I can understand that.
Go on.
Would you mind wiping my arse? Because
Right.
I've just...
You can't reach?
No, I can't get the arms back there. Can't get them down
Okay.
there. So, but I'll be honest with you, a lot of this Oriental food, it doesn't sit well with me.
So
it goes straight through me, to be honest.
So it's quite messy.
It's quite messy down there. It's
Right,
quite runny.
okay,
So be
okay.
careful.
Okay.
You
No, it's a
wear
great
some gloves.
honour.
If you want to wear gloves, wear
I
gloves.
don't want to wear gloves. It's an honour.
It's an honour.
This apprenticeship is 2 years, isn't it?
You're not going to take my feces and sell them, are you, as souvenirs or
No,
something? 'Cause it is,
I will
I
be
mean-
mainly getting fat myself.
Sure.
Wiping your ass.
Yeah.
Great honour.
Yeah, no, good. Well,
Great
no.
honour.
I don't do much sport. I think living in London, there's not that many areas you can go and... actually, I'm probably wrong there.
Well, there's all the gyms and
Yeah,
sports clubs
I'm
and stuff.
probably
yeah.
wrong
And the
on that
parks
bit.
and the
But-
roads.
But
Yeah.
look how excited I was going round to your place, Ricky, and you
Yeah.
had a little garden.
Yeah.
I haven't got a garden.
We played
And it was-
football, didn't we?
And we had a little... Well, I did.
No, you were rubbish. I beat you in penalties, 5-2, and then I beat you on knockout, I think 10-4,
No.
and he always makes an excuse. He goes, no, start again. We didn't say that. I'm cracking up.
Steve, have you seen Ricky play football?
No, I've not really seen either of
Right,
you play
it's
It's
football.
not football. You sort of do it like... it's like when you get a cat and you chuck it some wool, you sort of jump on it and lie on top of it so you can't get it, and then sort of kick it with his feet, lying on the floor.
Really?
No, what I mean is, he fouled me, and I was on one
Are you
hand...
sure he didn't just collapse
Yeah, but
because of all the stress and the exercise?
That's the other thing. That's
He
the other
just
thing.
Tumbled on the floor, Stilton poured out of his mouth.
I was too strong for him.
No.
I was too strong for you.
Yeah, but you didn't last long, did you? It was like if football
I didn't want
matches,
to last
if football
long.
matches went.
They just bring me on for the first 10 minutes.
Who suggested that you two play football? Did you suggest this, Rick? I
Yeah, we
can't
went around
believe it.
there. Yeah, well, yeah. We had to go and football in the garden. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do we do?
I just had a look at your salamander.
Right, is that euphemism or? Because I know that when I first went to your house, you used to show your genitals to people a lot more than you do now. You definitely used to do that. You used to think that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is that you get to a certain age, men of a certain ilk
Yeah,
get to
well,
a certain age and
Jonathan
just start.
got it out, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, when Ross came in, he did the same.
Yeah.
It's that weird.
Yeah, I suppose. I thought, oh, you've seen it
Childlike
now. I thought
mentality.
you've seen it. You know, you weren't impressed the first time, to be
wasn't,
quite honest,
to be honest
Steve.
with you.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's it's
but,
nice.
you know,
always nice.
it's
Always a treat to see.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you make of Ricky's place? What do you make of it?
Again, that's not a euphemism. It doesn't mean that I've got it's like a flat fish.
Yeah.
Do you want to see my place?
Yeah,
There it is.
It's all right. I mean,
You've seen better.
the pictures you've got on the wall. I'm not keen on the same sort of art as you are.
Right.
What sort of art? Because yours is quite sort of modern art.
He's got this big like bit of
Abstract.
canvas with like just loads of dark colours on it.
Yeah.
It looks really miserable.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it sort of brings the place down. if you're going to sell it, that woman on Channel 5, the house doctor, if she came round, she'd say, take that down, we'll get double for it. It's just, I thought it was like a wall he was
Take that
testing.
down, get that salamander out, and just pop those back in your trousers.
yeah.
It was like he didn't know what sort of colour to use on the wall, so he's like been putting a little bit on. No, that's not good. I'll use like a bit of a darker colour.
Yeah.
And it's just loads of different.
Are you Brian Sewell? Because you're saying.
So what kind of art do you like? I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I like
Athena.
I like Lowry.
Larry, the worst painter in the world. The most overrated.
You see, it depends. You're getting excited about
Rubbish.
your stuff you've got on. Lowry, right?
Yeah.
You can look at
He
his,
really is the Brian and Michael.
No.
Of the, well,
but it's real, isn't it? Right?
what do you mean it's real?
It's real. You look at his picture and you see like little disabled people walking about. You see kids
That's not real, then.
playing with like footballs. You've got your dad coming home from work, working in the factory. Got a little dog barking. It's life, right? And you can look at it like 10 minutes, go away, go and watch telly or something for a bit, go back to it, and you'll see different things in it.
Will you?
That's
Really?
what
What is it like? One of those magic eyes?
You sure that's not a telly?
Yeah. You've been looking out the window, Carl.
You sure you weren't watching When the Boat Comes In?
People will agree with me. It's better than your stuff that you buy.
Let's play Educating Ricky.
Right.
Brilliant. Go. Right.
Right, so-
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Educating Ricky.
Right, what are we going for then? Hanging the bacon, airy Chinese kid, alien gives man a beard.
I think Alien gives man a beard.
I'd
We're
like
all
to do
excited
that.
about it.
Right, there's this fella, I think it happened in America, and he saw a bright light in the sky. And
God, if you're bored.
he stood there.
This is a true story, is it?
Yeah. He stood there
Yes, of course it isn't, Steve.
and he saw this bright light and it came closer and closer and it was a UFO, right?
Yep.
And he looked at it and it disappeared, right? And he gets back in his car
He looks in the mirror.
and he looks in the mirror.
Yep.
He's only got a beard.
He hasn't.
You sure it wasn't someone else who got in the car and he was still standing out there?
Right?
What?
And it turned out
Yeah.
he got home and said to his wife or his girlfriend, it's a bit weird. So I just got out of the car to look at a bright light, and I got back in the car and grew a beard, and she said, never mind your beard, where have you been for 3 days? And what had happened is...
He passed out because he was pissed.
No. The UFO had taken him for 3 days,
Yeah.
but he'd only thought that he'd only looked at it and it went away.
Yeah. Right, okay. I mean, was Will Smith or Tommy Lee Jones anything to do with this at all? Did you see this on a video maybe and thought it was an educational film?
No, it's from a book that some kind person sent in to me. Here.
Can I just ask again? Just again. I'm just throwing this right back at you. Do you think there's any other possible answer here? Right, a man is absent for 3 days from home.
He's
the
grown a
length
beard.
of time that it could take to grow a beard, lest we forget. What if he hadn't actually seen a bright light in the sky?
What if he
he'd
was
been
lying? What if he
drunk?
was lying?
He'd got knocked unconscious. He'd had a car crash.
Just
any
lying.
number of other
No,
things.
just lying.
Or he was just lying.
Yeah, he'd been on a bender, getting pissed for 3
Yeah,
days
and that
with
was
his
his
mates.
excuse to his wife.
And they went, Dennis, what are you going to tell your wife?
Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
She's not going to believe I was out with you, lads.
Just say you're only away for a minute. No, I wasn't away from it because of the beard. Oh, yeah, it looks like you've been out for 3 days. Well, we have. That's
Exactly.
right. Okay, we've got to cover that then. Alien abduction.
Great one.
Okay, let's try that.
Do you see? That's a little scenario there that could have been played out.
So, when you say educating Ricky, what have I learnt from this? Never listen to you again. That's all I've learnt so far. Never listen to you.
Yeah, we'll add a little bit more in here, right? To
Well,
spice this
no,
up.
what do you mean add a little bit more?
We'll add a bit more to this what I'm educating you about,
Go on.
right? There's only a law in America that says if you touch a UFO, you're going to get done. Now, why would they make a rule? I don't know that. Do you know, like all their rules have a caveat?
Carl, I genuinely do not know what you're talking about.
Right. Do you know like how here they might have...
Do you know
I
what?
have no idea.
Right,
Okay.
Do you know like over here?
I'm listening to Capital on these headphones. I got Foxy on from yesterday.
Right, let's bin that. Hairy Chinese kid. Right, well, we've talked about hairy people in the past,
True enough.
haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, the little kids who grew up in woods and hung around with wolves and that.
Yeah, again, you're confusing it. Yeah, they're not. There were some people that were born very hirsute. They were not the people who were brought up with wolves.
Yeah.
You just put that together in your Homer Simpson type mind.
Right, well, this is like a sort of close to that sort of story.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, right, Chinese people aren't that hairy as a nation. No, seriously, that's a well-known fact. They don't have that much body hair and stuff.
Okay.
So this little kid who was born over there, he was like covered in stuff,
Was he?
and it was only his nose that wasn't hairy. The rest of his body was caked in hair, right? And his hair sort of
What
grew.
sort of hair was it? Was
Thick hair.
No, what I mean is, was it sort of like a pony's mane? So he just looked like an Ewok. You know what I mean? Just like hanging down, sort of straight, dark
Well,
hair.
in the picture, it looked like it grows
was it
from his
downy?
eyebrow. It grows from his eyebrows quite thick, and then it just goes all the way over
You
his
don't think
head.
it was just really long eyebrows that he'd done a comb over?
No, it was all over his body. It had a picture of like his back and that.
Yeah.
And
Had he styled it? Had he styled it at all? Did he have it in a quiff or?
no, it was just
hanging everywhere.
all over him.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know, this is a bit weird happening in China, where we're not normally that hairy.
That was the scientist speaking there.
Yeah.
And the local press and that were getting him down, calling him monkey boy and all this.
Oh,
And
thinking Chinese press.
but the doctor,
Yeah. Oh.
They're cruel, aren't they? It's like
doctor's-
those game shows.
well,
That's Japanese, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
and the doctor said,
I was talking through all that time while we were just like talking to each other then. Because I turned around and I still saw he was talking. Go on.
So anyway, the local press came down to see the hairy boy, the monkey
yeah,
boy.
and they were like being tight, taking the mickey out of him, and the doctor said
Throwing him nuts.
he's only hairy. Said he's a healthy young kid. The only faults he's got is he's got a little bit of eczema and a boil. So, he said everybody should just treat him the same, and I think he grew up a healthy kid. Yeah, so that's the
That's
the end of the story.
that's not a story.
why.
But I've got nothing. I don't know what to say to that. So someone in China was born slightly hairier than the rest, and he was normal apart from eczema and a boil. That to me isn't a story. But if it is, I've got a million. I mean, it's sort of like bloke from Manchester went a bit bolder than the rest, got a job on radio. He was normal. I mean, that's not a story, is it? Do you know what I mean?
All right then.
Hang on.
Hold on, he's got the big guns. You're not going to give us hanging bacon, are you?
Yeah.
Come on then, come on.
This is
Come
the one
on,
we were looking
come
forward
on.
to. This is it.
No, this is a good one.
This is the one.
And this is a story, right? Do you know the saying, chewing the fat?
Good one. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what it means?
Talking.
Right. Well, do you know where it came from?
No.
Right. What they used to do years ago, when people didn't have much money.
Is this the same as throwing the baby out with the bathwater?
No, it's not. It's not the same saying, but
No, but I mean, is it as wrong as that was?
Well, let me tell you, and we'll
Go
see.
on. Okay.
Like people go out to work, and with the money, they'd buy food.
Oh yeah, go on. This is a good system. What? Go on. What do you mean? People go out to work and with the system.
And
Well, go on.
if you were quite well off, you might treat your family to some bacon, right? But do you know, like in these days, if people earn a lot of money, they might buy a nice suit or a car.
Yeah. So what are you saying? You're saying wait. Let me get this straight. You're saying that you go out to work and get money to buy things to live, and if you get sort of enough money to live and you've got some left over, you might treat yourself on like a suit or a car or something. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
go on.
back then, if
Yeah.
they earned money, they'd say,
This is olden times.
"Yeah,
Okay.
let's get some bacon in," right? And what they'd do, they'd hang it in the kitchen
What, to show it off?
to show it off to all the neighbours and friends. Because if you had hanging bacon, it was like he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah.
Some lovely bacon.
So he had loads of bacon hanging up, and people would come round, right? And whilst they stood in the kitchen talking about whatever they're talking about,
in olden times.
they'd say, "Do you got a bit of Rhine?" and they'd rip a little bit of rind off, and whilst they're having a chit chat,
Chewing the
they'd
fat.
chew on the rind.
Well, I think that's probably true.
And
I
they
haven't
say-
heard that, but that one to me sounds true. Do you see the difference between that one and a man was abducted and grew a beard? Can you see the difference in
Yeah, but
why
they're
I accept that story?
Different stories for different things.
Different stories for different things. So, see, that's a nice story. If it's true, I don't know if it's true. I mean, but it seems totally possible, viable, quite interesting. I won't be quoting that myself until I've verified it. But that's, I won't be telling anyone the bloke got in the car and he had a full-faced beard. Why has his car been towed away?
Because it was a quiet road.
Was it?
Wasn't in the way. So.
Are you filling in the blanks again? That wasn't in the book, was it, that you read? See, that's the thing. Sometimes I think you make up bits of the story as though they were fact. That doesn't seem right.
Well, that's all you can do, innit?
I asked Carl in the week, right, what animal would he never trust? Even if he got to know it and it was a pet and everything, what animal would he never trust? What was it?
Was this a wasp?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you trust a wasp, Carl?
I just think that
They're shifty.
all other animals, if you get them at an early age, you can sort of make them like you.
You can train them.
A wasp,
Nothing.
never.
Is there anything do you think there's anything you could do that would kind of win the favour and win the trust of a wasp? What would you have to do you think?
What if you had it from a little grub
Yeah.
and you fed it, he had its favourite marmalade?
It doesn't affect it though, does it? A bee dies, doesn't it, if it does it? So it's not going to like use it willy-nilly.
That's easy for you to say.
But a wasp,
You think they sting arbitrarily? They just sting for the fun of it. They're like sort of like delinquent insects. Or
I
delinquent
think so, because
creatures,
last
yeah.
night, right, I mean, this is part of educating Ricky in a way, but something I learned last night was that tarantulas only bite you if you annoy it.
Right.
They don't, do you know how people say, oh, if you're in a sleeping bag living in a jungle, a spider will get in there and it'll bite you?
Yeah.
Apparently not, you've got to really annoy it. The thing that it really hates is having its leg sort of twisted.
It hates having his leg twisted. Right.
Yeah, but that's more for...
Is that what they said in the documentary?
No,
she said, this is the voice
almost certainly not, Steve. Almost certainly
Were you watching
not.
a documentary?
No, I was reading it.
Oh, you're reading it.
And it was this guy...
Was it scrawled on the wall in like a public toilet?
No, I'll tell you.
No.
I'll tell you more about that later.
Oh,
It's
right,
part
we'll
of
look forward
the thing.
Educating Ricky.
So if you
Part
don't
of the
trust the evil wasp, what animal do you trust? What's your favourite?
Well, I
animal?
also I said to him, right, supposing your mind, right, was put into any animal, right, and you've got to get from where you are now, right, to Glasgow, right, as an animal, right, but the authorities will be looking out for it,
Okay.
and it's shooting you, right, and you went through loads, didn't you?
I was thinking about it for it must have took me about an hour.
So your mind has been put into an animal.
And then, yeah, so it's you
And
in
you-
this animal
right,
thinking
yeah.
you've got to get to somewhere.
but the authorities know
your-
you're in the animal?
Yeah, maybe your body is in Glasgow somewhere, and you've got to get this animal to get to you so it can transfer its mind back into your body.
But the government knows that I'm.
Oh, we've all had that conversation.
So the government's going. Carl can't have
Yeah,
his
but-
own brain back.
I only have it with Carl. Don't
Yeah,
like these
yeah.
conversations. Go on, yeah.
So you're on the way.
So
to
think about
Glasgow.
it. You think about it just for a second. So let's recap. Your body's in Scotland.
Right.
He's the only one that takes my question seriously.
Your brain is in London,
Uh-huh.
right? And there's like loads of security and stuff looking out in the sky for animals or looking on the field, seeing what's looking a bit suspicious. trying to get to your body.
And they're
to put
shooting
the
them.
brain, and they're shooting everything and killing all the animals. What thing would you pick to get your brain to Scotland that wouldn't get caught? And I reckon I've got the answer.
A wasp?
No, because think about it, a lot of people get irritated if it sort of wanted to get a lift in a car going down the motorway. If someone's driving
was
there's a
hitchhiking,
wasp
yeah.
in the car, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, sure.
Cause a right accident.
Yeah.
So think of something that people wouldn't,
And the clock's ticking as well.
You're taking this really very seriously,
Yeah,
aren't you, Carl?
you've only got a couple of...
You've given this a lot of thought, haven't you? You have.
Yeah.
So something with speed.
Yeah, it's
Something
got...
that can travel quite speedily.
Well,
Well, that's... Yeah.
Well,
and something that's also inconspicuous.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that the sort of thing you're
Well,
that's what you're going to
yeah.
And is it a creature that's native to this country?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
I've got no idea, Carl. What are you thinking?
Tell him.
A flea.
A flea?
Think
Tell him
about
why.
it. Think about it. right, this flea, it's got my brain. It's dead small, the flea.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
And so it goes, right, I've got to get to Scotland. So it jumps on someone who's going to Euston Station.
Right.
They don't know it's there.
No.
The government can't see it.
God, it's Steve! Think of that statement. Think if you had just tuned in.
Yeah.
Now,
People get on the train, goes to Glasgow or Edinburgh, wherever in Scotland it is. It jumps off, it goes right, jumps on someone else who's going the way it needs to go, gets there, still no one's seen it, jumps on me, I get my brain back.
Yeah.
Government are like, phew.
And you feel confident that your brain would fit in that of a flea's?
Well, you said there was no problem with the size of it. You said you could.
there certainly wouldn't be.
So,
No.
I pretty much you could download everything you know into a flea.
Well, that's genius. Thank you very much indeed for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us, either myself or Ricky, or you've got something to send to Carl, then you can email us at podcast@rickygervais.com.
I'd just like to say thank you to both The Guardian for sponsoring this and Positive Internet for hosting this podcast. Both great. The guys at Positive Internet know exactly what they're doing. They're my kind of people, as is The Guardian.
Sorry, you weren't contractually obliged to say that, were you? It just sounded...
No, it's what I think. Just what I think.
Right. It's just I've not heard you mention either of them before in that way. It just sounded a little
Oh,
bit...
you're joking. I both love The Guardian and Positive Internet. Welcome to another podcast of The Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant.
Hello.
All right. And, of course, Karl Pilkington.
Rick, you'll be pleased to know we've already had some responses. You remember last week I mentioned that you can email us on podcast@rickygervais.com if you've got anything for Carl or you or I. And Simon and Mark have already emailed us in this link to something that was on the BBC News website. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's a remarkable story. Well, I'll give you the headline straight away, and you can draw your own conclusion. Lion mutilates 42 midgets in Cambodian ring fight. That's just the headline.
That's a hell of a headline. That makes me want to know more about the story.
Well, that's what a headline...
That's what a headline should do.
I mean, I think we'd all read the news. We'd all take more interest in the news if they could open the BBC News at 6 o'clock every night. Bong. Lion mutilates 42 midgets in Cambodian ring fight. Bong. We'd definitely pay more attention. So this is the story. It's just extraordinary. Spectators cheered as entire Cambodian midget fighting league squared off against African lion.
Now, I didn't even know there was a Cambodian midget fighting league.
You're an ignoramus. Everyone, of course, has heard of the CMFL, which is genuinely what it's known as in Cambodia. Now, like you, I don't know who the Cambodian midget fighting league are normally fighting. I don't know what tournaments...
I assume it's each other.
Well, I assume each other.
It's midget fighting, then?
Yeah, well, let me just give you more information, and then we can dissect it afterwards. Tickets had been sold out 3 weeks before the much-anticipated fight. The fight was organised when an angry fan contested Yang Shamoni, president of the CMFL, claiming that one lion could defeat his entire league of 42 fighters.
So this bloke is going to the president and going, I reckon a lion could get all your midgets.
I reckon he could destroy all of your 42 midget fighters. Now, apparently, Shamoni, the president of the CMFL, he takes great pride in the league, and he's conveyed in a recent advertising campaign that his midgets will take on anything, man, beast, or machine. Now, I don't know what kind of machine, again, midgets are fighting.
But don't the midgets have a say in this?
A washing machine. I don't know.
The midgets going, all right, keep it down. No, we'll fight anything. Well, we won't fight anything. We'll fight each other. We're sort of like equally matched.
No, you'll fight a beast or a machine.
No. I'll fight another midget. I will fight any midget. Is what. When I said I'll take on anything, I meant another midget.
Machines.
So this bloke goes, I reckon a lion could take on your midgets. He goes, rubbish.
Yes. And that is why an African lion was shipped in especially for the event, which took place a couple of Saturdays ago, in the city's Colosseum. I mean, they've got a Colosseum, Rick, which is already brilliant.
So hold on, this is sanctioned by the city?
Well, the Cambodian government allowed the fight to take place under the condition that they receive a 50% commission on each ticket sold, and that no cameras would be allowed in the arena. We'll take 50%, but for dignity's sake, there's no cameers. We don't want to make this into we don't want to make this into a
spectacle.
Yeah.
No. It's just lion versus midget, but
exactly. Well, 42. Never forget there was 42 midgets. Now this is the tragedy element, and this is why we shouldn't be laughing, because the fight was ended.
Don't tell me the lion gets hurt.
Well, the fight was ended, Rick, after only 12 minutes, after which 28 of the midget fighters were declared dead.
Right.
While the other 14 suffered severe injuries, including broken bones, lost limbs, and they were basically unable to fight.
But the
anymore.
lion wasn't hurt.
It would have seemed that the lion was okay.
Oh, good, because the lion had no choice in this.
No.
See, that's I love it when a human takes on a beast and comes unstuck, because that lion was scared and defending itself. Those little midgets were loving it. They wanted to go.
What do you mean they were loving it? You don't know that.
Well, why would they do it?
Well, what I find out... Well, I'm worried, you see. I don't know the ins and outs of this. I wonder if they were fighting against their will. I got the horrible feeling, because with all due respect to any midgets listening, they must be fairly easy to round up. You could probably corral some midgets fairly easily. You know, you only need some regular full-size people, and it'd be easy to grab some midgets and take them away, whisk them away, put them in a cage.
No, because no, because they don't. Because a lot of them stand on each other's shoulders and wear a long coat.
Sure, but...
And a hat, and you go, oh, that's not a midget.
No,
Let him go.
well, those ones are getting away with it. They're fine. They're wandering around, you know, fine. Because who's voluntarily going to join the Cambodian Midget Fighting League?
But midgets who want a bit of action, who want to fight other midgets, they're allowed. They want to fight. They can't get in real boxing matches because the fellas are too big for them. But they can go, well, I'll tell you what, let's have our own little fighting league, right?
But if I was on the Cambodian Midget Fighting League, I'd be livid. I'd be thinking to myself, well, I can't believe I listened to my agent and he's put me up fighting a lion. I mean, I should have just taken Panto in Grimsby. I can't believe that
I can't believe it. But hold on, though.
I thought
Are they all really midgets, or are they lumping in dwarves with them?
It's not specified, Rick, but
But that annoys me when people say, oh, look at these midgets, and I go, hold on, no, they're making up the numbers with a couple of dwarves there. That's clearly only 39 midgets and 3 dwarves.
Sure.
Well, that's amazing.
Carl, what are your thoughts instantly? I mean, you're bound to have a take on that.
Whose side am I meant to be on there?
What?
Well, by the story,
I'd be on the lion side. I'd never go to a bullfight, but I love it when I see a matador gored to death. Because, again, the bull doesn't want to get in that ring and fight a bloke with swords, okay? So I love it. I think it's disgusting. And when someone says a midget versus lion, I'm thinking, well, it's okay if the lion wins, to be honest, because they haven't got a choice. So, and I hate it when people go, oh, I went to a bullfight when I was in Spain, but it's the tradition, isn't it? Oh, well, there's loads of traditions that we don't adhere to anymore. So you know, I say it shouldn't have happened, of course, but if it happens, I'm glad the lion isn't hurt.
See, what's annoying me is I've sent money to Cambodia because apparently they're hungry and haven't got any energy. So what's going on?
Well, it's much easier to fill up a midget than it is a regular Cambodian. You know, they're
I just
happy
feel
on
like
a Mars
I'm
bar.
being cheated a bit.
You were conned before with a charity, weren't you?
Well, a few times, yeah.
What about the old lady? What was that?
I got stopped, and it's like they sort of drag you in by saying, "Have you got a gran?" And I said, "No, they died." And that it's like, "Oh, did they die of the cold?" No, you know, ill. What have you? Just old age. He said, "Well, what happens with a lot of people's grans is they die in the cold, right?" So I was like, "Oh, that's bad, isn't it?" Anyway, so she's chatting and she's showing me pictures of these old women who look cold, right? Saying, "Look at her, that's Edna. You know, she's got no family. She can't pay the bills and all that."
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway, it goes on for about 15 minutes and you feel bad. You give them your bank details, right? And what happens is, every couple of months you get a letter from Edna. Well, it's not from her, it's typed up and what have you. But there's a picture of Edna, right? And it's saying, oh, this December, you know, Edna's going to be extra cold. It's cold outside, she can't afford to pay the heat and what have you.
Yeah.
Keep going, right? So you keep paying every month like £5 or whatever. Get another letter a few months later, right? Edna's sat there. She's got a tan.
What do you mean she's got a tan?
Well, when they said, you know, she's cold, I thought they meant for the heating, not to send her on holiday for a month. She sat there with a tan. I'm not joking.
Are you sure it wasn't just a sort of a slight problem in the printing?
No, definitely.
Sure,
she looked well happy.
Sure, it wasn't liver failure.
This is a terrible thing to say, but when I see those people approaching now with the clipboards on the street, I always get my mobile phone out and pretend to have a conversation.
I've done that one.
The number of fake conversations I've had walking past them now.
Well, I felt sorry for them, right? Because I thought, that, you know, to be fair, I've got about 10 standing orders where I felt sorry for them in court, right? I thought, they're doing a good deed, the least I can do. I find out they're on about £8 an hour.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're not just doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Well, I don't want to
I thought they
libel
were
them.
volunteers. I thought that was at least why I should feel guilty. If they're getting paid to do it.
I don't know, that could be wrong.
I think they do.
What?
I've heard they get paid and that.
Well, if someone knows, maybe email us.
Podcast at rickygervais.com is how you can get in touch with us.
'Cause
If you know if these guys are getting fleecing us twice.
You know, I heard something. Carl thinks that. You think they're not.
I don't know anything, but anything that will allow me to
But
not
let's
feel
find
guilty.
out, because you know, I don't want to slag them off, because they're obviously doing a good thing. So we find this out. It's, you know, this is an educational show.
I tell you what though, right? Because we've talked about homeless people before and that. And I walked past one the other day. He's always cheerful, right? But don't you think, right? If you had a company it's worth taking them on, because they never have a lie in.
Brilliant.
I'm finding it quite exhausting now, because a lot of the homeless I've encountered recently, they're not even after my money. They're just looking for conversation. While I was walking along the other day, and I don't know what you're supposed to say to this, we were both walking, happened to be both passing a Chinese restaurant. He glanced in, he looked back around to me, he went, woman in there with 3 phones, 3 mobile phones. Why does she need 3 mobile phones? Got nothing to say to that. Got no opinion. Got absolutely no opinion of it. And I was thinking, what's going to have, and you know that thing when you sort of, suddenly you got across the road conveniently to just get out of it. But, and there was another mad woman who started going, she was walking past me, she went, do you want to come to my church? I went, no, I don't believe in God. She went, do you believe in God? Oh, 20 minutes. Conversation, 20 minutes. It was unbelievable. I got to a point where I was so angry with her, I was shouting at her from across the other side of the room. I was the one who sounded like a nutter, going, there isn't a God! But
You see, when does it become, like, bad to avoid people like that? Do you know what I mean? Because some people say you shouldn't, that they're people like us who just had a bit of bad luck.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah, I know, but I remember one on our estate, right? And she was a bit, what's the word that you can use? Because I don't want to offend anyone. But I'd say, but sort of mental homeless. Is that a term?
That's the official term.
I think that is the
new official term. It's mental homeless-itis.
Right, so she lived on the estate and what have you, and she aged.
How was she homeless if she lived on the estate?
Well, she sort of decided to stay around there because I think people on the estate spoke to her more than people who had money. Do you know what I mean?
Really? I was going to say, why would she choose an estate not to live in, as opposed to a walled sort of lovely community?
Yeah.
Why not go to St John's Wood or?
Yeah, or I'd hang around in maybe, say, the Maze in Hampton Court.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's expecting to see a homeless person as they're trying to find their way around.
Well,
imagine the cash you'd make during the summer.
The rich sort of Victorians used to keep sort of homeless in there as a little folly, and they used to pay them at the end if they stayed there for like 3 years.
What do you mean there? Would they pay?
It was fashionable to have a little homeless little hobbit in your outhouse. Seriously.
And what did they have to do anything for the money? Run, dance,
no, they just
fight
had to be
tigers?
there. No, they had to be there when they brought around. They go, look, that's our little catweasel fella living in our folly.
Yeah.
And then they got money, at the end of it. There's just like really rich sort of Victorians and stuff.
That's a great idea. They should definitely bring that back. Because, you see, I would give a lot more to shelter and those kind of charities if I could have a homeless guy and do my bidding. I could make him
and
dance.
they had a really long beard and rags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could just make them do dances for me, or,
And he was somewhat magical, possibly. That
you
would
weren't
go, riddle me
sure.
dee, fiddle me do, what is my name and who are you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then,
But anyway, so this mental
There's a little idea
homeless-
for shelter if anyone's listening. Yeah.
mental homeless woman on the estate, and what she used to do, right? She acted quite normal, and she used to always push like a pram around with her, right? And everyone was like, she can't have a kid, can she? Right? And she was dead happy every day. She was up and down, walking up and down the road. Anyway, one day she sort of walked past, right? Turned round and looked in the pram. There was a bucket with a face on it.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Rick, we've had an email here from a bloke. I think you're going to respect him, because I think you can tell straight away from his name that he's the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with.
Go on.
I know how much you love fun people.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, and he's calling himself this, Paul the Party Animal Parker. He's emailed in. He's given himself that moniker.
Right, I assume they're in sort of like quote marks,
They're
are they?
in speech marks, yeah. Paul
Brilliant.
the Party Animal Parker.
And he's calling himself that.
Yeah.
That I can't wait.
So when you picture him, what are you thinking?
Millhouse.
Right, okay.
I think he looks like Millhouse from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
He's
He's working in sort of an IT department, maybe?
Yeah,
for a large
possibly.
organisation?
Oh, I think he might still be at school.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And this is the vital question. Do you believe him to be a party animal?
I believe him to be a party animal is as much as a man with a long scarf that his mum knitted him to look like Doctor Who can be a party animal, yes.
Do you think that when people are organising parties at his school, they're thinking the first person they got to get on the list and make sure he's guaranteed as
You've
a
got
guest
to take Paul the
is
party animal.
Parker.
Because I bet he's got millions of affectations. I bet he wants to be known as the one that carries around a biscuit tin.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the scarf.
He's the guy who only ever wears bowling shoes. It's his thing. It's his thing. He's a little bit kooky, it's his thing. But thank you very much indeed for your contribution. And it is fairly interesting what he sent in. He's found this on the web. I don't know why he's felt an affinity with this particular inventor, but anyway, there's a Serbian man who has invented a sex machine for women, and he's appealing to Western women to test his device. He's from a town in, as I say, in Serbia. I guess Serbia. I guess that's right. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. What does it say?
Well, it says a Serbian man, but is it called Serbia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was all the Croatia-Serbia thing?
Well, it doesn't matter now, does it?
Okay. It doesn't matter now. It does to them. Otherwise they fought for nothing. What the hell do we know about world events? I mean, how long did that go on for? Months,
I don't know.
wasn't it?
If they're inventing new countries, they can't expect me to keep up with current trends, can we?
Anyway, this Serbian man has invented a sex machine for women, and he can't find any Serbian women to try it out, so he's looking now for Western women. He's taken out a patent on the ultimate sex machine. It runs on a 390-volt electric engine, simulates sex, and has a 7.5-inch artificial penis. He said, "My sex machine has an artificial penis that can make up to 180 moves in a minute." Now, I don't even know what that means. 180 moves? What? I mean, there's only really...
Well, in and out,
It's
I
in and out.
imagine.
It's largely
Yeah.
the function. Unless I've been doing it
what
wrong
he's
all
done.
these months.
What he's done is he's put a dildo on a Black and Decker.
A man can only manage the intensity of movement for about 5 seconds normally, but this machine can do it for as long as the woman wants. But anyway, so he's looking for a woman who will test this out. But what I love, as soon as I read this, I was thinking, it's just imagining there going, "Oh, thanks for coming in, yeah, okay." So there's, what's going to happen is there's a penis that's going to pop out from here, and it's going to have sex with you. I'm going to stand behind the machine. I've got to stand behind here, there's a lot of dials and stuff, I don't want to bore you with.
Well, why do you have to stand behind it? Just.
I can't, it's technical stuff, but I got to be behind the machine.
But there's no penis on the robot at the moment. It's just a hole.
No, don't worry. What'll happen is, I'll switch the machine on, I'll go behind, and then a penis will appear.
Will it be like a metal-looking penis?
It will be a robotic penis, but it will seem like it's a regular fleshy human penis.
So you're gonna all right. So you're gonna go behind this robot,
Go behind the machine.
disappear,
Yep.
and then a fleshy-looking penis is
That
gonna
will appear
through the hole
when I switch the machine on.
Okay, and that'll be the real
Yeah.
robotic penis.
But you won't see me for the duration of your sexual
So
encounter.
you've made this sort of like robotic penis look really realistic.
It's really realistic. You will not be able to tell the difference between, say, the robot one and mine, for instance.
Okay, well, I don't wanna see yours.
No, there's absolutely not.
Because I've not come around here to have sex with a person.
I know, you've come around to test the machine.
Yeah,
and that is exactly what you're going to get.
Okay,
Not a
well,
piece
you-
of mechanical action. But what I like is the idea that on the front, maybe he's painted a picture of a robot's face.
Yeah.
And then when the machine begins, you know, rather like in one of those horror houses, like a kind of mansion in a spooky film, the eyes of the painting, they'll move.
And the
a pair of
real eyes-
eyes will appear, just staring out. But I don't think I can have sex with this machine unless you're actually in the room, just in case anything goes wrong.
No.
Don't worry, I'll be behind the machine, it'll all be fine. It'll
Yeah.
be safe, not a problem.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, Paul the Party Animal Parker sent that in, and knowing him, there'll be plenty more coming like that in future weeks.
Carl, what do you think about that? The
Machines and that.
yeah.
Well, they've always been sort of. I mean, to a lot of people, sex is important, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Not to you?
Well, it serves a purpose.
What purpose?
No, no.
Because you don't want to have kids, so what purpose?
Just you know,
Something to do in the
something
evening,
to do, innit?
when the telly's broke.
But for years, like they've found stuff, haven't they? Machines from like Roman times that similar to that setup.
No machines in Roman times.
Like that though, the old sort of knob on a stick machine thing.
The old Roman
I love
knob
that.
I'm sorry, but I watch
Aqueduct.
Time Team every week, and Tony Robinson has never done an old knob on a stick machine.
I just think of Julius Caesar sitting down and go, okay, aqueduct, we love that. Thanks for that. Straight roads, good idea. We can see the enemy coming. What have we got there?
Well, I'm glad you've asked.
Ploncticus. What have we got
Glad
there?
you asked.
Wanklicus.
What I've got here is a yieldy knob, and I've put that on the end of a stick.
Oh, a stick of smallus. Okay, well done, Wanklicus.
No.
Well done. You are my new right-hand man, as they say.
No,
Not a problem.
Excellent.
But they do stuff like that. You've been in the London Museum and that, and they've got sort of sex stuff from years ago. They've got like these metal pants that they used to wear.
I don't know what that is.
Metal pants.
Yeah, sort of
Is that a
metal.
chastity belt? You mean? They used to make women wear them so that they
When-
can.
when-
have
Yeah,
sex
when-
no,
with
but
men who are-
they had them for blokes as well though.
metal pants for blokes.
Yeah,
Why?
just-
So he had a little lot. So if he was away, he couldn't play away from home, and if he was away, she popped on a little.
No, I just think they sort of like sexy metal pants.
What? Oh, I don't know what you mean.
What
The
are you
sexy
talking
metal
about?
pants.
Well, they'll have to look because I haven't got it in front of me. It's just something I remember seeing, some sort of sexy metal pants that I used to wear.
But what are you saying? Sexy metal
Carl,
pants?
they
that
always
was
have
not
to
British
be-
Museum, that was Soho.
No, what I mean
That was
is
Old Compton Street, you were looking
they
in a
always
shop
had to
window.
be ready for like battle and that, but these were a little bit sexy but protective at the same time.
I love that.
Right,
I
I'll
love
have to
that.
look
I
into
love
it.
the
I'll
idea
have
that
to-
that's all you remember from the British Museum.
So Lancelot, are you ready to face the Black Knight? Yeah. What do you think of these? Huh? What do you think of these? Well, I don't really care. Just
I just want to look good on the battlefield.
Well, they're both protective.
Will there
and-
be women watching, cheering us on?
Well, you're not going to fight like that, are you? What about your chest?
I'm going to wear nothing except these sexy metal pants.
But what about your chest is exposed?
no,
Nothing-
well, it's a good chest. I've been working out.
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is, you want metal all
I've actually
over.
been lifting up the round table every week. I just work out, do that about 4 times a day.
But that machine, right? Why did it have to be a woman, or could they have got a little gay fella in?
I
Let
don't
me
know.
just check. It doesn't actually specify the small print here.
I love that. Why do you want to see a little gay fella be?
I don't want to see it. I'm just saying they're sort of more.
Carl? Why do you want?
don't wanna see
why
it.
do you want to
Don't wanna
watch a
see it.
gay man get buggered by a robot?
I wasn't the one typing in gay machines on the internet, finding stuff out about them.
It's not a
Steve
gay
was.
machine. You just made it into a gay machine.
Yeah, he wanted to pleasure women with this machine.
Oh.
You're saying, can I see a little gay fellow get a robotic cock up his arse? You're the one requesting that, Karl
I don't want that.
Pilkington.
I'm just saying that.
You're the one that want to see gay men with metal stuff up their anus.
No, what I'm saying is they're more up for a bit more experimentation than.
What are you saying? Why is that the case?
Why? Why'd you say that?
No, just they just butt plugs and that. I mean, what I'm saying is.
What, you can't just say butt plugs and that.
I'm just saying that I reckon they'd be up for it.
What do you know
I'm
about
saying.
butt plugs?
I don't know anything about them. I just remember seeing an advert for some once in a sex shop.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, I wasn't. I was just walking past. I was walking past the sex shop and that, and
Your eyes
you're sort of
glancing,
looking.
glistening.
Why were you walking past a sex shop?
Just because I was on the way to work and that, and I passed one, and there was a little sort of one. It was open early, which I never understood. Right, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. Right, and I
Who's
thought,
rushing out for butt plugs that early in the
who
morning,
needs them now? Right, but I
I
sort
must
of
get
had
a bagel and some poppers on the way to work.
But I walked past it, and it had like a little post-it note or postcard type thing, and it was like, pop in now, buy an item, chuck in some free butt plugs. And I didn't know what they for. I'd never heard of them before. But all I'm saying is, I've since found out what they do with them.
What
And
do
if
they
they
do with them?
do that with them, then
Yeah.
give them a go on that.
I had another email here. This is they haven't given their name actually, but it's an interesting fact. I'm hoping it's true. America's first nudist organisation apparently was founded in 1929 by 3 men. Now, what intrigued me when I read that is the fact that it's clearly 3 blokes just trying to meet some nude women.
They're all 52, balding,
Exactly.
with little so those gold rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just wandering around, and it's all quite saggy down there, and they're just knocking on doors saying, "We've just set up an organisation. It's perfectly above board, completely
Yeah.
legitimate. It's a nudist organisation. You got any women in there that want to come and join us? 'Cause
Well,
we haven't
not
got any
really.
female members at the moment. Got any women in there interested in, volleyball or trampoline?
I can't be doing with it, me.
You hate nudists, don't you?
Nudists. I don't understand what it's all about at the end of the day. And here's something, right? Do you know, like, when you're a bloke nudist, right? Do you ever get any who just have, like, a small knob?
I don't know. I don't understand the
What's
question.
that? What's your point?
Well, are there any blokes who are knocking about who just have a normal-sized knob, or maybe a bit smaller than normal, who are happy wandering about showing off what they haven't got, if you know what I mean?
I don't think nudists are just doing it because they're so proud of their knob.
No, but there's got to be a little bit of that in it, hasn't there?
Why?
Say like Jonathan Ross, right? He's nipped to see you now and again and what have you.
He's what?
He sort of nipped in to see you now and again. He's always happy getting his knob out because he's known to have this big knob, right?
What do you mean he's
showing
known?
it off.
Why is Jonathan Ross known to have this big knob?
No, he just talks about it a lot, doesn't he? He's always saying about, but you'd like this, wouldn't you? And all
But that's
that.
like me. I'm known for being a great lover. I say it a lot. It's clearly not the case. What
Yeah,
evidence
but-
have you got that he's got a big?
No,
knob?
but the difference is he's happy to keep getting it out. It's different, sort of me walking about going, "Oh, I've got a big one" and all that, and then but no one ever sees it. But Jonathan sort of, he's always getting it out, isn't he?
Have you seen him get it out before?
I saw. Well, he did get it out, but I wasn't looking.
What do you mean you weren't looking? How do you know it was out?
Just because he sort of was moving it about and that, and I could sort of
So
see.
you-
No, I wasn't looking though. It was that sort of thing where you can see something moving about, but you're like, I'm not looking at it.
What, like an owl seeing a mouse?
It
That,
just,
like...
what I mean, it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is,
So no, let's get back to this. You remembering vividly Jonathan Ross's penis?
no.
Yes.
I don't mean that. What I
But
mean,
why were you looking at his penis?
I wasn't looking though.
Well,
I'm
it was
just saying-
clearly not meant to be looked at.
I'm just saying, most blokes who, nudists, they must be pretty confident in themselves to, getting it out. And I wasn't looking. It's just that, I mean, I looked once.
Okay, what was it like?
What? Sorry, you looked at Jonathan's once.
No,
or-
no,
Yeah.
I was looking at another one.
What?
At the same
what?
time?
No,
Why
no.
are you looking at loads
No.
of men's
What's
penises?
going on? Where are you
Because
hanging
it's
out?
natural.
this?
It's natural. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean? This
As a
is Carl,
bloke-
Carl takes a sneaky look at
No, no.
menscocks.com.
No, what I'm saying is, it's
Where
natural.
was this happening? You were in a gym.
No.
A lot of guys are getting changed, and you were just checking
you're,
out their
you're at your bedroom window with a pair of binoculars,
No.
and there was a little fella across the road
I
getting
was
changed.
at some night out once.
Go
right?
on.
So you were at heaven, and you were in the
It was
toilet.
some night out, and some people come running on the stage, right? Some music started coming on, and these 4 people ran out. It was 2 women.
So you're
2
at a gay
blokes.
strip club.
It wasn't gay in that. It was just a normal night out. Well, some sort of party night out.
Right.
These people come running on, right? You got 2 women. You got 2 blokes.
Right.
They whip their knickers off. The fellas whip their undies off.
At the same
Now-
time?
Yeah, all at the same time.
Was it like,
that,
was it like a choreographed thing?
like what's it?
Chippendales.
No, what like Cheryl Baker was in it. It was that thing where they sort of, on Eurovision Song Contest.
I'm making your mind up.
Yeah.
When Bucks
Oh,
Fizz
Bucks
ripped
Fizz.
off a larger skirt, conceding a smaller skirt. At no point did Bucks Fizz whip their knickers and pants
When
off.
you said Cheryl Baker was in it, I was thinking, what? Didn't she used to host Record Breakers? I don't remember that on
So-
there.
so
Tea
that-
Time on BBC One.
So
Go on.
that happened, and all I'm saying is, right, before I had a look at the woman's bits, right, I just had a little cheeky glance at the fellas.
Why?
Just checking it out, just seeing is everything normal down
Why
there.
weren't your eyes drawn instantly to the ladies' bits?
Don't believe me, I had a look at that. All I'm saying
But you
is,
went to the guys first.
I didn't know how long pants were going to be left off for.
So you didn't want to miss your opportunity, is what you're saying? You saw a window of opportunity to see some men's bits, and you thought, I better take it.
No,
because this may never happen again.
No,
So what happened? So there's
had a
2
look.
women, 2 men, right? I don't know what sort of event this is where you're looking at anyone get their knickers and pants off. I don't know why you're looking at all.
Good night,
So you go right. There's knickers and pants off. Right. Let's check out the knob and testicles first.
You're telling me you've never, like, when you've been in a gym or anything, you've not just sort of turned your head, had a look, and gone, all right, yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Been in a... Sorry, let's just get this question right. Have we ever been in a gym and just taken a sneaky glance at a man's genitals? Is that your question to us?
Right, for me, it's the same as when you see someone who's a bit odd, 2 heads or whatever.
Well, I'll be honest. If I was in a gym and a bloke came in with 2 heads, I'd look.
What?
I'd get a sneaky glance in the mirror. I'd go.
Sorry, but you'd look at his genitals or his 2 heads?
There's 2 heads.
Or would you you look at the heads and then think, I wonder if he's got 2 cocks? And just...
I'd have to have a look there. If I'll tell you what, and now I admit it, if I'm ever in a gym and a naked man with 2 heads walks in, I probably will check out the genitals as well, just to make sure that he's got 2 of everything.
Can I tell you the thing that always freaks me out? I do sometimes go to the gym, and I live in North London, and the thing that always freaks me out is if there's an elderly man, often quite short, and I say this only so you can picture something in your mind's eye, because I live in North London. There's quite a lot of old elderly Jewish gentlemen, wander around, and I'm always freaked out because there's at least 2 I'm aware of who've got very, very large penises, and I always find that really disturbing because sometimes you can't help but notice because it's like Godzilla coming through the changing room. Do you know what I mean? And it's swinging there, and it never seems right that he's an old guy, he's kind of a little overweight, quite short, and he's got a massive piece of action going on between his legs. And I always get, dare I say it, a little bit jealous. Because for a tall man, I feel I've been a little bit shortchanged.
Oh, wow.
So
there you
that,
go.
I do admit, that's the only instance where my eye has been naturally drawn to it.
Do you know what annoys me in gyms? Where people walk round happily naked all the time whistling. They get weighed naked, pop a towel on and take off 3 ounces.
How exact have those measurements got to be?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pop a towel on. I mean, unless you're going on the space shuttle, I reckon you could give or take a couple of
Ounces.
stone. Yeah, a couple
exactly,
of ounces.
yeah. Absolutely right. Well, we've put that to bed.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Right, Carl.
Go on.
It's that time again. You better be ready.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Right. Well, this week, what we covering is, do you know, like they say, monkeys are pretty close to humans.
Well, when you say monkeys, you mean apes, I assume,
Well,
and when you
just
say apes, you mean
whatever,
chimpanzees.
monkeys and that.
Well, no, because they're different species. They're all
What they've
primates.
done,
But
they've done a lot of tests and that. Like I said, you know, we've talked about the one that went into space.
that was
We've
rubbish.
had ones that have worked in train stations.
No.
The rest of it. So the
Barbers,
next,
was there a barber one?
there was a barber one. He started off sweeping, didn't he? But he didn't immediately go in.
Straight into,
But,
but he worked his way up, yeah.
They do
you know,
apprenticeship.
They do a lot of stuff.
I've seen the salon. He was probably the top student.
But the thing is, you know, I mean, in a way, this is linked to the one in the salon. He could cut hair, but he'd never be allowed to work on the till, right? But these tests that they've been doing now,
Why? Are they not trustworthy?
well, they've had problems understanding money, right? But they've got one recently that they've been teaching about the value of money and showing it that, you know, to get this money you've got to work hard, you've got to save your money, and when it's saved
No,
up,
it's all bollocks.
you can do what you want with that money.
Yeah, it wouldn't
But
happen.
at the end of the day, these monkeys aren't on that much money.
Yeah,
So-
and they wouldn't. You could never. you
So-
could never teach a monkey the value of money.
So the thing is, they've said to these monkeys, look, you know, there's your money.
They haven't said anything
You're
to the
only getting
monkeys.
so
They
much
have, Rick.
money,
Please listen to the news.
but
it's the news.
It's the news.
it's important that, you know, they know how to spend that money, right? It's basic rules, really. It's what you teach a human about money, innit? It's what you teach kids. The
So
value of
invest
money.
wisely.
Invest and all that.
Sorry, who's
they
teaching
got
these monkeys?
past,
So, Carl, stop.
Just some
What-
people and that.
But who? Where are these
The
monkeys?
monkey people.
But where are these monkeys? Where are these
I
monkeys
think
being?
it's in San Francisco.
Where are these monkeys though? What are they? Are they in a shop? What are they doing? Are they in homes? What are they doing?
Just
in
like,
the zoo?
Well, probably just in like some sort of science place where science people are checking out monkeys' brains and that and seeing how they work. But they're happy. They're not.
This is
cutting them that.
different to the news at 10.
So listen.
Well, yeah, but you can't interrupt the newscasters for one thing, Rick. Please.
Sorry, go on.
So there's these monkeys, right? And they've given them some money, probably about £5, and they said, right, off you go, go shopping, see who comes back with the best. Sort of, how much can you get? You know, like in
Ready, Steady, Cook.
Steady, Cook, where they
Right.
say, there's a £5, go and get some food. Anyway, some came back and they were like, you know, they hardly had anything.
This is absolute shit.
No, listen.
This
This
is
is
bollocks.
Listen.
But one of them, right, he was away longer, to be fair.
Yeah.
Right, I think he came back last. But they were really impressed because he sort of said, this is amazing that you've got all this. Can't believe it. Give us the receipt, right?
Oh, this is absolute
Right, forget it then,
bollocks.
forget it.
No,
No,
listen.
forget it.
No, this is absolute
Hear it then.
shit.
We want to hear the end.
No.
Look, hang on a minute, right? So they said, give us the receipt and that, and they looked at it, and it was all official, right? And they went through it all, and what they were really impressed by is the way that they always went for the sort of slightly older veg, where you get 2 lots for the price of one.
Right, you're absolute.
So, and it just goes to show,
This is
right,
absolute bollocks.
Well,
There's
forget it
no
then. If
way.
you're
There's
not
no
gonna-
way
forget
a
it.
chimp went
It's
shopping
not-
and
right.
knew what he was buying. It's
I don't know why
absolute.
you lost me then.
Well, it's absolute bollocks. Once again, you've made it up. You probably saw a headline
it.
on some sort of half-witted website, and you're talking shit.
Right.
Just to say, if you have any monkey news for Carl that you want to hear on one of these podcasts in future weeks, then you can email Carl, or indeed with anything,
Sick of
at
it.
podcast@rickygervais.com.